they called him Delaware. He's like, why do you call him Delaware? And I didn't know. Apparently they called him Delaware because he's not allowed to go back to Delaware.
MrBeast's former employees speak out, and it is not good. Before we get started, trigger warning, there is just every trigger warning from the isms to the phobia to the essay, so if that's not going to be anything that you can do today, please feel free to scroll. That being said, let's go. MrBeast is a wildly popular YouTuber, especially with children, so these newer allegations, now there's a ton, I'm going to nutshell all the allegations here in just a second, but the newer allegations that come from a former employee, Jake Weddle, wherein MrBeast knowingly employed someone who was registered, and so that he would not be recognized in these skits, was instructed to wear a mask. There is also side talk that they were actually trying to expunge his conviction so he could continue working for them without them having any egg on their face.
Don't touch Delaware's cracker.
Allegedly, this is Delaware. And I'm saying allegedly so I don't get sued because MrBeast doesn't have a lot of money. But allegedly, this is Delaware. So nutshell of the other controversies, and actually the first controversy that broke this whole thing is actually really in line with this other one, so I'm wondering if we need to go through the payroll and maybe give background checks, because it doesn't seem like maybe there were a lot going on, or even just listening to other people's opinions or what had happened to them. But I digress. So MrBeast has been a YouTuber since he was 13 years old. He's very well known for the stay in blah 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 for $10,000, don't leave the bed for $1 million versus $1 million, $1 versus $1 million, you know, that sort of thing, and has amassed an insane like 300+ million followers on YouTube. Before this most recent wave of allegations, consider the golden boy an untouchable, even though things have been coming out about him for years and years. But when people came out and said anything, they were absolutely viciously attacked. The first allegation that really kicked this off, like I said, is in line. Now keep in mind, there are a lot of allegations from back in the day, but we're just talking about this one particular, but are kind of in line with what we're talking about Delaware. This person was accused of contacting very young people, as well as in-person essay, a lot of stuff that went on with that. And when MrBeast found out about it, the response was actually what you would want to see from somebody, but who knows what's going on behind the scenes. This was the statement. However, the controversial part that you really need to pay attention to, this did not come out of thin air. We didn't just fall out of the coconut tree. This was very known on a lot of sites. If his team had listened and paid attention, they would have known who they had on their hands. But when it blew up, of course they go through and do this because it's now a public thing, or publicer. Now, the next bit of controversies that have been spoken about before, and what's amazing is Rosanna Pansino, who, if you don't know who that is, go look them up, is the one speaking out. If it was anyone but her, I don't think anyone would have listened. Honest to God, I don't think anyone would have listened. Even when she's spoken out about this before, nobody listened. The allegations Rosanna has gotten, and go watch her video, she has a lot of nuance. She's heard from hundreds, if not thousands of people at this point about just horrible conditions, treating people terribly, lack of food, lack of rest, lack of water, not getting paid what they were supposed to be, being offered hush money, and even some of the tactics they're using in these games are literally prohibited by the UN because they're the next set, the videos and the lotteries and the I'm giving this random person $10,000 are fake, which I think people kind of figured that. He's giving money to his friends for the most part. Sometimes it's random people. And that's another part of the discourse why it's so complicated. He has done some good things. Then you've got these other things. So it's a whole mess. In a video posted on July 24th by Rosanna Pansino also, and she's just done amazing things for this. And I just want to shout out to her for speaking about this, even in a climate where that could have really hurt her. But they were talking about, MrBeast and his friends, about how much they would pay to purchase someone, and the word that they used ended in a hard R. After those comments, he continues to go on to use some of the most phobic and statements you have ever heard in your life with his comment section, circling all the way back around to Charles Robert Jefferson, also known as Delaware.
From what I hear, I can't confirm or deny, from what I hear, he's on the registry for doing some not great stuff to some underage people. And they knew that. He's working at a channel that has underage people on and around and is targeted to underage people.
Now, MrBeast has been on the internet for a long time, and he knows that people will figure it out. So they figured a way around people figuring out who was on the channel.
And they covered up the fact that not only did he work there, but he was like the manager when it all started. And you know that he knew, and because he'll be in videos. He'll be in thumbnails, he'll be around. And whenever he is, he's wearing a mask. Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face?
There was also a voice recording that was released by yet another ex-employee of MrBeast who wants people to hear about this. However, the recording did not catch where allegedly MrBeast's team wanted to have Delaware's record expunged so they could continue to employ him and keep him in videos.
There is a house out there.
there's extra money to be made, and Jimmy doesn't care who's taking it, which, when you add all of these allegations up, that kind of rings true. But that's all of that stuff in a nutshell. There is still more, but this is just kind of overview. Have a good day. Have a day. I don't know.